You're listening to the Caramel Apples podcast, the apple snack that brings you a retro vibe, both crunchy and sweet, with your hosts, Kennedy Rizzo and Cooper Lee.
Welcome to this week's Apple Snack. And this week we're going to be talking about dancing and a lot of the media and TV shows and movies that was showcasing what was big at the time back in the 80s. What do you think about that, Coop?
Oh, I will say quintessential 80s entertainment right there. So, yes, nice choice, Kennard.
Yeah, truly. And we were all into that. Like our mom, we talked about her in other episodes of our podcast where she just totally introduced and opened up our love for all things music and dancing and movies and all that stuff. I mean, it's all her fault, but we thank her.
Yes, we do.
Now, we're going to get started off hard. We think about early to mid 80s, like one of the big things back then that was huge and became a mainstay in pop culture was breakdancing.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Oh yes, breakdancing.
Mm.
Um, this was key back in the mid '80s. So we're going to talk about real quick um, the movie Breakin' One, and Breakin' Two. So what do you remember about these two movies, Cooper?
I think the main thing that I remember with these two movies, and to say for the other movies as well, there's always that dance battle face off type thing. That there's always a nemesis and a struggle to overcome, be it parents or just the person telling you can't make it.
Right, right.
These are your dreams, but we're gonna dash them to pieces.
And right in the middle of these films, yeah, there was always a decent storyline like that surrounding what you just described, but
Yeah.
all the fashion too. I mean, like if these were a lot of times, Hispanic, black guys, people of color,
Yes.
and they had that Jerry curl going on, and
Oh my goodness.
they'd have their headbands on like Menudo and Karate Kid fame, leg warmers, and they'd have the glove and they were all hooked up all 80s.
Oh my goodness. Yes, the fashion back then was just so. I don't know if there was any other decade that had such a unique fashion to it. Like you look at it and you know exactly that that's 80s. There's
Yeah,
there's no mistaking what you're watching.
right, right. And like you said, the quintessential 80s theme.
Absolutely.
Now, again, we don't want to get off topic too much because we are talking about the dancing. So with breaking, it had dancing happening within the realms of the inner city, and it's almost like a gang type feel.
Yes.
But
Yes.
they would get to parks and spots that they like to meet up, and they'd have their cardboard with them. They'd have their boom box in tow, and they'd be ready, like you said, to do their pop and lock and their dance off. And of course, the bigger causes is a contest or there was something they were after. I can't even remember what the whole premise about breaking was, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I think it was kind of like, because it has been a while since we saw it.
Yeah.
I think there was a girl who was kind of like from a ritzy part of town, and she was meeting up with her friends that were the breakdancers.
Oh.
Yes, and it was kind of like, don't you do that, So there's you got the parent struggle there, I want so much more for you, and she's like, well, I want to just breakdance with my friends.
Yeah, so she was crossing over to the wrong side of the tracks in their estimation.
Yes, yes,
So,
I
so,
think that's the story.
so she could be down with ozone and turbo.
Which, not taking away from the talent, because it was serious talent.
Yeah,
But those
yes.
names, oh my goodness.
And some of those moves, I mean, like they did some
Yeah.
crazy moves.
Yeah, it's
And
like, how did you get your body to move like that?
oh my goodness, do those people even have knees now that work?
I don't know. You know what? And we could actually ask people around in our own little town that we grew up. Because do you remember that in our middle school and junior high, and I think even up in the high school, we weren't there yet, but they had pencil dispensers. And remember, they had the pencils in there that had the steps on there of how to actually perform some of these breakdancing moves.
Yes,
Because
yes.
everybody wanted to do it.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
It was a whole phenomenon, really. You know,
Yeah.
if you could have pencils made. But they did. They had the detailed steps on how to do certain moves of breakdancing.
Yes. Which
And
ones did you have? Do you remember?
I definitely had the snake, and I think I had the wave.
Oh my goodness.
Which that one was pretty easy. You know, you just do your arms, you know. But then they had the centipede, the one you were actually get on the floor and make the move there.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
and again, you know, our bodies were young and limber. You could kind of do that. Now you get down on the floor, can't get back up for one.
Right?
Probably break and bust and crack some things, you know, in the process. So,
Yeah. The popping and locking just leads to locking and not being able to move, for
right.
sure.
That's right. Pop and lock, and we're done. Okay, so Breaking did come out in 1984, both of them, one and two. So that was a phenomenon at the time. Everybody wanted to break dance. Everybody wanted to see that movie.
That's bizarre because I literally don't remember them coming out simultaneously like that. Do you?
No, I don't. No, no.
Huh.
I think it all just kind of ran together, and it was cool.
Yeah.
So we were like, we just wanted to see it, and I think did mom take us to go see it?
I think she at least took us to see the first one. I'm not sure about the second one, but I think she took us for the first one.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah, in our little rural town. That was actually one of the times I think that it was actually packed out, our little
Y-
theater.
yes, it actually drew a crowd.
Yes, like, because everybody wanted to do it in this little country town.
Now, Coop has another movie she wants to talk about, and that was in the following year, 1985.
Yeah, that's a little lesser known movie as far as we were concerned, because I know I hadn't seen it until I stumbled onto it. You know, we are all about the 80s. And it was about a small town group of people. They were teenagers. There was 8 of them. They scrape together their money, they hop a bus, and they decide they're going to make their dreams come true in a dance competition in none other than New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, the Big Apple. So that's where they ended up going. And they were denied access actually to the competition, but they were given a promise. I think that they had to wait like a month or something and they would talk to them later. So they had to make things work for themselves. These teenage kids had to figure out how to get an apartment, sustain themselves for this. I can't remember exactly how long they had to wait until they can meet with the execs again, but they had to like get little odd jobs. They kind of sustain themselves on, doing street dancing and making money that way. They kind of like bombed a really expensive hotel. They kind of took over for as the entertainment there, kind of snuck their way in. And it was just, it's very 80s movie, you
Yeah.
know, but they were overcoming their struggles to become stars. And the movie actually does end where they get to do their competition and they win, and the parents are kind of okay with this.
You know, and that's the thing. Like you said, a lot of these themed movies and TV shows, it was all about somebody trying to become a star. They want to be a big star.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, they show them doing it and it's very in a closed set, it's safe and whatnot. It's like, doesn't really go that way in real life. It's
Hmm.
like kids that would hop a train or a plane or a bus or whatever to get to where they want to make their dream comes true. it probably wouldn't end up like they portray in a movie. It's like this is a script. It's scripted.
Yes, right,
So it's
right.
kind of scary that they put that out there, and people are, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. It's like, maybe not.
And it was definitely a more grueling process, like you were saying back then, because like now, it does. Somebody can be living at home still, and because of social media, they can become a star for any reason.
Oh, absolutely.
And back
Yeah.
then, people actually really had to roll up their sleeves and have a talent and do something.
Yes.
And a lot of these films and TV shows, they actually did keep that dream alive for people and made it seem like it was just in reach.
Yeah. And to that, there was like that one show that remember mom really loved. It was called Fame.
Yes,
And I
fame,
think that was a school for the gifted, if I'm not mistaken, like for dance and singing and music and everything.
fine
Um,
arts. Uh-huh.
yes, it was a school for the fine arts. So you had that going on. And I think that is definitely a real thing. So people they get their skill in school and they're like, well, I can take that out on the road and I can do this. It's like the percentage of people who actually make it is not like that. It's very, very small.
Yeah. So one more dreaming big, I want to be a star type of movie was the 1986 Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Oh yeah.
That was a good movie. Good girl movie.
Yeah.
Well, same thing. She was from a strict military family. They moved around a lot, and her and this friend, which was played by Helen Hunt, it was Sarah Jessica Parker and Helen Hunt. They became friends,
Yep.
and they ended up living in the city where there was a huge TV hit show, a dance show that if they won the contest, they could actually become regulars on this show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And most people have probably seen it's a great movie, very 80s.
Oh yeah.
But it's interesting that, again, because the culture was huge and fanning the flames of this at the time, there were really actual shows in real life that people could do this with. That there was MTV, there was the one we got to watch all the time was Dance Party USA.
Oh, we loved it. Big fan.
Yeah,
Yep.
you would just average common people on Main Street that crossed over to become stars.
Yeah.
And you could write to them and stuff. They had fan club, all that good stuff. It was just all part of a culture. And
Yeah.
a lot of the music was freestyle music with those kinds of forums. Like Eddie was even kind of portrayed on Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Yes.
And freestyle, that was more like Stevie B, is it Stacy Q and Lisa and Cult Jam,
The Cover Girls.
the cover girls. Yeah.
Yes, all of those.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was just it was an amazing time. It was a different time. And it just, I don't know. It was an innocence about it though.
Yeah. Well, do you remember your graduation party?
Yes.
You could tell what time frame we grew up in.
Yeah. So talking about being highly influenced, my graduation party was themed after Dance Party USA.
Hey, who knew, right?
And that buddy was fun too. And it worked
Yeah.
out. It played out. And everybody that came, had nice turnouts. And
Yeah.
everybody seemed to enjoy it too. They followed right along. I had it all planned out. We did it like the show. So you'd have your little, solo dances. People could come out. We had the Soul Train line so they could go and do their thing down that. It was
Yes.
great.
It was amazing.
But and I do think that we're not going to touch on it in this Apple snack, but skating was big back in the late 70s, early 80s too, and there
Yeah.
was, they kind of mixed that in with the dancing, especially the break dancing era. Like they'd be on skates doing some of these stunts.
Yeah. That
So
was a serious skill. We didn't get it. I can't even skate backwards, but for these people who can do that, it's like that's amazing. Very, very
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I don't know. I love talking about these nostalgic throwback topics. They're the best.
Yeah, they just put a smile on your face. We're not deluded to the fact it's like we know we can't go back there and live, but we appreciated it for the time that we had when we were in it, and it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was. So, if you ever want to check out any of those movies, we've got Break In 1 and 2 that we featured from 1984, Fast Forward from 1985, and Girls Just Want to Have Fun from 1986. That's just not even the tip of the iceberg of what you can find as far as good and wonderful 80s esque examples of what breakdancing and ballet dancing and dancing, period, can be.
And that's it for this week's Apple Snack. But as you know, there's always more where that came from. So stay tuned. Subscribe, review, and spread the word. See you next time in the Retro Orchard. Thanks so much for listening.